Everybody, it's Melissa. I wanted to share a quick pocket with y'all. The pockets that I do in my minis. I'm going to do a small one like this one today, but it's the same. You use the same technique for the big ones. You can adapt it to any size. It doesn't matter. I don't measure much. I just eyeball things. So I'm not going to give exact measurements. I'll give you my height. And that's about it. I'm going to make a pocket for this library card. And we're starting out with a scrap piece of paper, and it really is a scrap. You see the owl at the bottom of it? But that's not going to show, so it doesn't matter. I want the pocket, the actual library card is 5 inches tall. So I'm going to cut this at 4 inches. Well, I'm going to cut it at 4 1/4 actually, because I'm going to use a border punch across the edge. I want a decorative edge across the top of this one. And it's just going to be a regular scallop edge with no holes or anything. Since there's plaid on here, it doesn't make sense to use a punch with holes, because it distorts it. So let me punch this real fast. I'm just using a Fisker scallop punch. I'll probably use this one as a gift card holder and use the actual library card as the card that I put the sentiment on. I get my library tags at the educational aid shop in my town. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is, I'm not going to use that, I'll use my scoreboard. Sometimes I use my cutter, but it'll be easier for y'all to see if I use the scoreboard. Now this is DCWV paper, and it's super thick, so you definitely want to score it first. If you don't, the paper's going to crack when you fold it, and sometimes it'll still crack even if you score it. So the width of the card is 3 inches. Now since I've got such a wide piece of paper, this is why I keep it wide, so I don't have to measure the width. I just go in and score, so I have a 3-inch panel in the middle, or somewhere around the middle, and then I can just cut the ends off accordingly. So I'm going to come from my center point, which is 6. I'm going to come over 2.5 inches. So 3.5. And you know, if you can even lay the card down. I've done that before. And 6. The one at 6.5, or the next score line is fine. And since this has the glitter and such on it, I'm going to have to try and rescore that. So now the bottom needs to be scored, and I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch. And this glitter is really giving me fits, but I can do it. I'm going to persevere. Alright. Now just fold in on your score lines and get those good and flat. And then we'll go back and cut. So I take my scissors and snip snip on either side of this center panel. And then you can either use your scissors to cut on both sides of the center panel, or you can use your cutter. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use the cutter because it's quicker. Just line it up and cut on either side. And you can cut a little bit above your bottom fold. That way when you assemble it, it lays a little bit flatter. So the next step would be to fold these in and see where you need to cut them off. I'm going to use this bottom flap as my guide, so I'm going to make a little tick mark about right here. The only thing you need to remember is both edges have to overlap. That's the only thing. So this one's going to go in first, and I want this one to be about in the center. So just eyeball the center. It's about right here. And cut it. If I can find my mark. And so essentially we have our pocket. I'm going to round the bottom corners because they're going to show. You can either round them or you can snip them. A real library pocket has, the old ones have just the angled bottom, so I'll snip this one. And I'm going to pre-fold it up and press it down and then glue it. I'll just use my ATG. And I put 2 strips and I go right up to that fold line but not over it. Now since this one is going to flip in first, I put the ATG on the outside. And then I turn it and put it on the inside of the short flap. Make sure you get all your adhesive back inside of it before you glue it down. And just press it down really, really well. And now I'm just going to use a circle punch. So now I've got the circle punch, and I'm just going to cut my little shallow circle, probably 1/3 of the way down on the punch. And here's my little card. We'll stick that in there. Way or this way, doesn't matter. And that's the little pocket. So I hope y'all like it. I hope I made it easy to understand. Kim, let me know if it's if I made it more difficult than it looks, because trust me, this is really easy. And just use this technique to adapt it to any size that you need. Like I said, I used it for the larger pockets, and you can move your seam over to the side. It would be great, like on this craft one, to stamp, add all kind of stuff on it. So anyway, I hope that's helpful, and I hope everyone has a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.